good. Very welcome. And you can hear me all right? Very good. Okay. There is one person who has told me he will be a bit late, so he will hopefully come very soon. But we can start and just find a comfortable position. And in this space, remove your attention to what is here. You just recognize. Whatever comes, let it come. Thoughts, emotional content, sensations of the body, and whatever comes through the senses. You just recognize what is here. You take a firm stance in being with what is. And you recognize the attentive quality that is here in this moment. The alert awareness that recognizes what is. No need to go into thoughts of time, imagination. You just recognize that those things might happen in this space. You see them as they come and go. You just recognize the steadiness of awareness, this firmness in the experience. It might be experienced as something very subtle that is steady in all this movement. It's not really a thing, but it can be recognized through the movement of things, because that is the non-movement. It's not a phenomenon to look for, it is where you look from. Your intellect cannot help you here. With the intellect you can inquire. but you cannot move. Into awareness. You can just recognize that it is. It cannot be emphasized by your intellectual qualities, but again, it can be recognized that it is. If you rely on your thoughts, it will never end. If you put your stability in thoughts, they will never end. But if you recognize the intuitive sense, the trust that is here, the inner guru, it will gently guide you towards beingness, towards silence. If you can hear it over the yelling mind. If your mind wanders, come back and recognize what is. This is not a failure. This is breaking the unconscious habits of the mind. Always coming back to what is. You can open your eyes, move your body, stretch out your legs if you need to. Ashtavakra said, "A man open to intuition may realize the self upon hearing a casual instruction, while a man of cluttered intellect inquires bewildered for a lifetime." Satsang done. There are two ways to completely go astray on your spiritual path, which is the big ones. People are either prone to one of them, usually. It's either that everything is a philosophy, everything is intellectual. The way forward is always mind, mind, mind. And the other is the body, the emotions, that you're completely taken by it. It overwhelms you. You are so guided by it that you would say, "Oh, I used to go with what my thoughts said, but now I go with my gut feeling." And that usually just means that people go with their pain body. They go with what triggers them and what reasons with them on the level of emotions. And they're not aware that they're doing many things just to calm themselves there. What they feel comfortable with, what feels safe, and what just reinforces their emotional state. These are the two great ways to not stay with what is. And I understand the difficulty of going with the intuitive sense. Because, as I said, many people who are emotionally driven, they think that it just has to do with, I'm just going to go with the flow, feel my gut. Whatever happens, happens. And they're just so unconscious about their triggers. And the intellectuals, or the one who is mind-driven, will just ask questions upon questions, and the question itself become the interest, and the results of the practice become the interest, and it's just continuous forever. Spirituality becomes the interest. You want to talk about spirituality. You want to exchange with others. You just want to churn and churn and churn. But beingness is in none of those. It is much simpler. It is not fancy. It's not even exciting in the way that the mind likes it to be. It is just beingness. There is beauty in it, but the beauty is not in the way that you imagine it would be. Because perhaps your idea of beauty is also an idea of excitement. It's also an idea that is born of future. When I say that beingness is here, I don't mean that in a soft way. I mean it's really just this. And I recognize that the ego is not content with that. It will perhaps say, it is not enough. I need something more. You have to give me something more to do. The ego says, how do I get there then? And if I say the thing that stands in your way is the idea that you are someone going somewhere, who can hear that? Who can understand it? Who can catch it? It's so comforting. It's so nice and familiar to be in this striving state. To go to the idea of the person going somewhere. I understand that. And as soon as you move somewhere else, it will be uncomfortable. It will not feel familiar or just nice or pleasant even. But it might feel very real. And there is a very subtle thing that I tried to explain to Sanla today when I was with Swami. And it was how it felt like he nudged me. He didn't really have to do anything. He just sometimes exposed that I was taken by my mind. And it could be simple things. I could feel like I really wanted to follow Swami's instructions. I felt really attentive. I really listened to his words. But the person wanted so much. I really want to understand this. I'm really listening. I'm really trying. And that just comes so much from the identification. And when I didn't get any response from Swami or the way that I wanted, it was just sometimes a nudge. He just nudged me in there. This tightness of trying is not it. And as soon as I relaxed, I fell back into the space that was open. And when you don't feel it, it always feels like I have to do something to get, I have to nudge something around, I have to be better in my inquiries, I have to be better in my meditation, so I have to find the right. And you're looking and looking, and it's not the trying that is doing it. As soon as you give up, it comes. It's much softer than trying. Trying is so identified. It's much more like you just give yourself to it. And your practice, your sadhana, goes through these stages. It always starts with the stage of effort. You're trying to do the sadhana. You're trying to quiet your mind. You're trying to sit. You're trying to focus. You're trying to come back to it time and time again. And it might sound harsh, but depending on where you come from, that can be quite a long way to walk. You will reap the benefits, but it can take time. Because you have to break the habits of the mind. And if they go deep and your beliefs are strong in that you are a separate individual, that you are this body, that you have this personality, all these ideas that you walk around with, how strongly ingrained they are and how important they are to you, will matter in this. And it's almost like a paradox, because the egoic structure has to, at a certain level, be crystallized to start to be uninteresting to you. Because if it hasn't been crystallized, if it haven't formed a strong ego, then you won't really see what it does. Then you will say, if I just had more confidence, I would be all right. It's so easy to be there. And when you have the confidence and you have perhaps some success or failures, depending on what happens, you will start to see that, okay, a stronger confidence or more crystallized ego, whatever you want to call it, it's not going to help me. It's not creating freedom. And in that moment, it is easier to dismiss. I'm not saying that this is the path that everyone takes. People will always be different, but it's just common. And it's good to know that there are people like Eckhart Tolle that has never heard about. He didn't meditate, he didn't do anything. He just inquired into his mind when he was depressed. And it can also happen. But there is some maturity that is already there. Like also with Swami, what makes a 5-year-old start to recite mantras and have no interest in normal play, but doing sadhana? That is very unusual child. And at 14 tries to go away from home and said, I'm going to live in the jungle as a sadhu. And the parents brings him back a couple of times and said, you cannot go in the jungle and live like a sadhu. And then after a few times they gave up and just allowed him to do that. This is very, very spiritually mature people, whatever their background is. And you will move from, if you get interested in this, you will move from ignorance to some kind of awareness, no matter how you move. And for some, they do such a big journey during their lifetime that they start to camp at a certain point, because they're just so content with, look what I did from this. I went from this darkness to this light. I'm done. So they also stop their journey there, because they feel like they have achieved so much. There's so many ways of coming to that. But if you're really curious, the instructions from Swami to me when I saw him the last time was, don't stop practicing. I know you feel happy, content, everything is perfect. But just continue. There is more. There is more to this. And we're also so used to the idea of society. If you feel really good all the time, and you feel happy and content, why should you strive? Why should you do anything? That's fine. But the spiritual depth is also a longing to just know. I want to know the fullness of this. I want to know in depth what beingness is. What is this deep stillness? Even if I cannot tell it to another person. Even if I can just be it and experience it. And words will always be lacking. I still want to know. This intuitive sense is the openness that is needed. And it's much more abstract than other things. It's not so easily defined. It's at a certain point you will start to be able to only say what it is not. You will say it's not trying, it's not thinking, it's not identifying, but you cannot really say what it is. It is in the space when they are absent. We can call it the openness of being, the now, Brahma, whatever you want to call it, Ishvara. but it's just this. And sometimes the most accurate description of it can be a feeling like you're pointing to what is. It's not something outside. It's not the quality of something outside. It's just this. And the stability it brings is also that. When the stability is in the health of the body, in the idea of the person, in the external, in the idea of your relationships to the world, to other people, to your position, then you will suffer all those things. They will play. They will move as they should move. They will change as they should change. And you will suffer them as is your belief. In alignment with your belief, you will suffer them. In the separateness of the body, in the separateness of the person, you will suffer the sense of separateness. And it can sound harsh, but it is beautiful design. It's like the universe conspires with you. It can feel very harsh sometimes, unfair even, but it still conspires to show you what is here. What you're not honest about, you will sense that. But it's not in a way that there is a judging God or revengeful spirit somewhere sitting in the clouds judging you. It's just the cause and effect of the mind. And the worst suffering is not the suffering of pain or a broken heart, or it is the quiet suffering of discontentment. Of continuing and trying when you have the sense, and however much you gain, you will always have the sense that it's not enough. If you look at people who have billions of dollars, and if you look at them in conversations, they will still talk about lack. Because otherwise you won't accumulate that. So they have a strong sense of lack. And we have a society where many people look up to this kind of person that suffers that kind of lack, because they seem to have power, they seem to be in control somehow. And very few are interested in the one who feels everything is enough. They're afraid of contentment. They say it's to be stagnated, to be content. You won't develop. You won't be anything great. This is the greatest thing. To accept what is the greatest thing you can be. The one who no longer wants things from the world. The one who bows instead of grabs. people tell me they want to save the world and do things. Know yourself. Look at what is. If that changes, everything changes. That changes, your world is changed. Is there any questions today?
So maybe I could ask for some nuance or guidance around like not getting stuck with in the feelings of the body, because I think I've always had the habit of like fleeing into my mind, like solving problems with, just with my thoughts, and then sort of constructing these solutions, which obviously doesn't help anything. But that's what I did until I started to sort of meditate. And then I remember what I loved about mindfulness when I started was just being like allowing feelings to come, because I realized then I never had allowed them to come, and I was running away from the feeling in my body at the time. So I think for me it was like important, and I think it feels like it still is important to a certain degree for me to like to really work at breaking that pattern, like to really just allow myself to feel myself in my body, to feel the body, to let everything arise that comes in there. So just wondering if you have like some nuance or some like advice as to how not to get sort of stuck in that, if you understand what I mean.
There is for many people the disconnect with the body makes you not understand what is felt, and you're not really aware of what is felt. That's why, like, the vast majority of people are very easily manipulated with fear, because it is not fear on a conscious level. To them, it just feels right. When some politician plays on one of your fears and you align with it, it just feels like they're telling the truth. Because that is the first, for many people, one of the few times when they say, oh, that's what I see, that is what I reflect in here. This is also my feeling. I'm also afraid of those people, or whatever it might be. Yes. So that unconsciousness with the emotions is the difficult part of it. And as soon as you start to move to look at it, you go through a phase of just accepting that emotions come and what they are. And at a certain point, you also come past the whole, you will accept your emotional content. Maybe there is a few things that you're still afraid of, but mainly, like in your everyday, you accept your emotional content. And usually, and I say this especially for men, it seems, they have to go through a phase that they have to learn how to cry, usually, if they don't have that at all with them. So that I see often. And just be very honest with the emotional content. And as soon as that has settled a little bit, and you're used to that, it usually goes into this state where you can feel skinless. You start to come into this because you now have the full palette of your emotions, and also you start to be not interested in just having this wall up, this armor. So to many people this is very jarring, because you're so used to being protected. And then that has to go on for a while. And you just get used to being very open, and you're not afraid, and you have to feel your emotions again in that spectrum. Because that can, again, they can feel very visceral and very on. And other things might come. Things that you might have been hiding a lot, like insecurity, it might be much more on the surface. These kind of things can be exposed in it. And then when all these parts you become more mature with, and that also means that you have access to all the emotional content. So you're also not censoring. If you need anger to stop a situation, you will use that. You will not have a guilt around being angry and that is wrong and playing that whole game anymore. You will just allow anger when it's needed. And Papaji said it beautiful. He said, even the lambs become lions. Even the really nice ones, when they get access to everything, they can also give a hard no.
Yeah, because I think it's like, it felt a little bit like, maybe I'm just making a story out of it, but it felt a little bit like the more I sort of allowed my feelings to come, the more they come, and then I'm like, oh no, I can't stop them now. Whereas before it was a little bit like I had to sort of give them permission to come. And then now they come, they just come. But I still feel like sometimes I need to, like, oh, I have this feeling, I just need to, I need to take care of this now. And I guess I'm just worried about falling like into some trap, or like it feels right to give that space, like I need to have space, or sometimes I need to say, yeah, no, like, no, I can't do this now. I certainly have different needs than I used to have, but just so I'm not getting like stuck in something.
Yes, it's very easy to start to have to create relationships with all the emotions in this, especially when you feel much more sensitive and you feel much more exposed in it. And you can for a while have yes, I need to be with my emotions, and you can have much more integrity when it comes to these things. But that is still in the realm of karma. That is still that your emotions is not really free. There is some layer to it that continues, because as soon as they're free, you will feel like this emotion needs to happen in the situation, and done. There's no continuation. I don't have to digest it. I don't have to blah, blah, blah. That's all the person. Yeah. And that can be needed for the person in the moment. But you cannot make your camp there. Understand that it can just come, and if the response is very intuitive and you're just free in it, it will not create any more karma. It will not create any more thoughts. You won't be in bed thinking about it at night. So, and the space that is made, what all great teachers talk about, the free from karma, that means that there is no continuation to the emotional content. It doesn't bring a story. It just happens and done. And in that part is also one part that can feel depending on your relationship to your emotions, but it can feel like you have to forgive yourself. This is the person's way of handling that. Because this deep forgiving is a deep acceptance of allowing all emotions also. I shouldn't have lashed out. I shouldn't told that person off. That what comes with that, and when that lashes onto the person, you can just forgive yourself. Might come tears, might come like this sense of. So that is a very common way to move through these things. But to understand also that emotional content, when it's completely free, does not create karma. That's a good truth to have. And you can notice these things when you also when you approach things. Sometimes it will feel like this just creates more. Does it create more, or is there space? And there is intuitive sense that sometimes easily can guide you. Oh, this I will think about for a long time. It will be just done. And maybe this intuitive sense is not what feels like the default choice for you. That's not what you usually, because many people are just feel very comfortable in their old choices and old paths. So that can feel very like it's pulling, like a sense. Anders has a question.
I guess for some time now, I've discovered how much the heart can open, and for me that has been in relation to other people, in dancing, in singing, and it's as if the heart just expands, and there is no need for striving. There is no need for achieving, doing anything extra, all of that. Whereas in my meditation, I feel more and more that it's very much in my head. It's sort of mechanical, cold. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to get that heart-opening experience, and very subtly, of course, but there definitely is that striving tendency, and tensions in my body that I used to talk to a lot before, and all of this strategizing, like I need to accept it because all of that. And so I'm just wondering if it's because it also feels a bit scary to have these other things that wasn't supposed to be. It's still this story about the way it was supposed to be. I was just gonna sit on the cushion and that was it.
Yes. Okay.
So it's more related to if I should continue to sit and to just see how it's not gonna take me anywhere, and just sort of head against the wall.
Yes, I want you to try a thing when you sit. I want you to give yourself full permission of you don't have to meditate at all when you sit. You don't have to do well at all in meditation. You just give yourself completely. You can sit there for your meditation time and just daydream. Whatever you like. You have complete free. You can fall asleep. You just give yourself a permission slip to do whatever you want in this. It is not a strict practice anymore. You just try it and see what happens. Because what I hear from you is that it is too tight. Yeah. Something needs to relax. And when you do other things, you can relax into them. So you just have to have the permission to be whatever. It's not a prison of meditation. And believe me, I have tried the prison of meditation a lot. You see all these sages, and you hear how much they sat, and you're just like, I'm really gonna do it. And you become so tense from it. And it doesn't give you at all any openings, because there is no relaxation in it. There's always the tension of wanting something. So you just give yourself permission to completely fall out of it. Daydream, whatever is needed, sleep, whatever comes, just allow it to just... Just do it in your practice. Just see if you can just not be great at it at all.
I was gonna say I'll do my best.
No, do your worst.
I'll do my worst.
I think in this case you should do your worst. Be a real crappy meditator and just try it and see what happens with it.
It feels like the advice I need, but it's also difficult.
Yes.
So I guess that's good.
And it's just to show you something different in your approach. And you don't have to be worst in the great way. You're worst in the worst way. Yes. You will fall back into really trying again. Oh, no, I can just... And you will have your patterns. And the difficult thing with when we do the practice is that we fall into a rut. We go into a mood, like a kind of mood where this is what I'm doing now. And sometimes it's just good to throw everything out. I just remembered, especially in the ashram where we meditated so much, that I really felt like I was like trying with my inquiry. I was really doing it. And some days I was just, I don't give a damn. Just throw it all out. I start again. I don't know anything about meditation. I'm just sitting here. What is this? I don't know. And be clueless. And be bad. Be a beginner. Not know what you're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here. All these, just breaking those patterns.
Thank you.
Anyone else? don't be afraid to try things. In your practice, I know it's very tempting to just be a good practitioner, but don't be afraid to try things. It might feel like a stupid thing, it might feel like... But if you just have a hunch that you have to try it, try it. And I mean all kinds of things. If you have some, for example, many people have some idea that they might be able to make their mind quiet, then explore that. See what happens. Try to quiet all your thoughts. Try to keep them at bay as long as you can and see what happens. Just try those things to understand how, because that will show you ways of how the mind works and how it cannot be controlled. So don't be afraid of going into these unknown places. We are so, most of us are being taught not so much to explore life, but to do right. So we're not very good explorers. Because we just want to follow the instructions of the teacher and do it right. Can you write it down in points? I just want to be able to follow it properly. And that's what many people long for. But a great way of approaching it is with the intuitive sense and just explore. What does it matter if you sit a couple of times doing something that is a bit crazy, but it tells you something about your mind, or, oh, maybe I can inquire in this way, or you just try something and sometimes it will surprise you. And I'd heard all kinds of stories of practices that worked for certain people. Like I met one man and he said, for me, my mind goes super quiet if I just give thanks to everything. And he was just like notorious, like crazy to every small little thing he said thanks. And after a while his mind just... And it depends so much on how your mental activity works and what you take yourself to be and what you take the world to be. And for some, it's just to discard. Just allow everything to be discarded. To allow it, throw it out. And it can just feel, oh, I don't need this anymore. I don't need that anymore. Not this. Okay, comes another thought. No need. And it just starts to free them up. But it will work differently because of what you believe your mind to be. And it will always reveal, if you inquire into it, it will reveal the universal truths, the dharma of it, the true nature of things. What are thoughts? Are they really a part of you? Or are they things just happening in this experience? And intellectually, you might say, I know it's just coming and going and da-da-da. But in your experience, do you see when you attach yourself to thoughts? When in the moment someone criticizes you and you in 1 second just add the thought of I becomes me and you feel attacked, and how quickly that goes and what that belief is. Are you conscious of it, or it just... Because for many people that part does not feel like meditation. Do you understand? That feels like, oh, life happening again. But meditation holds all of that. And when you come back to this, being aware of it, in every situation, in fear and in the strongly identified self, you inquire into it, you look into it, you allow it to be expressed. You are just with your experience. You will see. It wants to show you. But we have to come back to awareness of it, always. The ignorance of unawareness is what allows all these automatic identifications and all the things to continue. And to be humble about the blind spots. These seem to happen again and again, and I'm never aware of it. There is something with that. And I think that you will notice sometimes also when you come and listen to Satsang that certain things that I say, even if you have a sense like I really have to hear this, some things are just so difficult. It's like the words don't really compute in that. The egoic mind has such resistance to that certain part of information that it can be like almost blocking it out. All these things are possible. And the egoic mind can be very comfortable with just bringing the same detour every time. Whenever this happens, it just does its little thing. And everyone is different there. For one person it's feeling like a victim of something. For someone else it's feeling attacked. For someone else it's feeling exposed. It can be all these. Feeling guilty. There's so many variations. And a good pointer always is that it feels like the same patterns. When you see the same patterns, just be really attentive. If you feel like this kind of relationship or this situation with a friend happens with this friend and with this friend and with my parents and with this, why is that? And whatever patterns are like that, be very attentive of those. That's usually where the ego holds its position, and usually says also, this is normal behavior, or you need this. You have no choice, the ego says. And if you believe the inner voice, it will limit you so much. It will tell you how long time you will be practicing before anything happens, what you have to do, and blah, blah, blah. What it knows nothing about. Nothing about it. is so much effort among people to try to find some sliver of happiness and contentment. Often outside, often with great effort. I remember one time someone who came to Swami had a long speech about the benefits of drugs. That there were certain drugs that had therapeutic use, and that marijuana could be good for this and that, and he talked in length about all these things. And Swami just said, but there is the bliss of being. Why do you need drugs? Was his only answer to this. And it's so easy to be taken of external things because they're so simple and powerful. Can be very powerful experiences. They can feel holy. They can feel like they completely change you. But also this power is here. It is not far away. It is not impossible. And as soon as the mind becomes quiet, it becomes blissful. At first you will say, there's more space in my mind, but I don't feel any bliss. But I promise you, it will come. It will come contentment for no reason. It will come love for no reason. And it will be different in all of you. And this contentment makes the external less interesting, or at least you become less dependent on it. Because you start to get what you're looking for, and it's not external. Swami loved my name, Atmananda, which means the bliss of the self. He many times said, such a good name. And I'm not saying to shun external things, but understand that you are mainly not an external person moving about in the world. You are this moment. You are awareness itself. You are the Atmananda. No more questions? No. Oh, you have a guitar. Yes, very much. Okay. He has a special one with chords, I think. And we have a request today for a song. I got a message earlier from Avinasha, and she asked if we could do the Kali Durga. That's right. Yes. Yes. I just moved the mic so we get a little bit, perhaps the people on stream also get the guitar. You can hear the guitar a little bit? Yes. Yes. Jai Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. 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 Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. 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 Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Durga. Kali Durga, Namo Namah Kali Durga, Namo Namah Kali Durga, Namo Namah Kali Durga, Namo Namah Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Jaya Mata Kali, Jaya Mata Durga, Jaya Mata Kali, Jaya Mata Durga, Kali Durga, Namo Namah Kali Durga, Namo Namah. May everyone find the inherent bliss of awareness, the contentment that is always in this moment. May awareness guide you from darkness to light and expose the ignorance of the unconscious. May there be peace for everyone. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.